Hey folks, got a great question in from Joe McEachern. I hope I'm saying that right, Joe. Matt, your videos and comments are very much appreciated. Question: when looking at a factory refurbished camera, full frame or crop sensor, should you be concerned about shutter count to date on the unit? Is there any similar consideration too on the video side? I'm looking at a factory refurbed 70D or D7200. I do primarily freelance and hobby work with some video. Are there any guidelines when considering these used cameras? Thanks, Joe. You know, I would be concerned. To be honest with you, I bought a factory refurb from Canon, and I haven't even checked the shutter count. Any factory refurb I've bought has usually been one of those ones that comes out off the line and gets dialed in, or might have been in the store and had a few shots on. Like, I've never really seen one with a high shutter count. I'm not saying they're not out there, and perhaps you're taking that risk that you may get one, but I should check my 70D because I bought a factory refurb from Canon. And just from looking at the camera, it looks brand new. Like, I doubt it's got more than 100 shots on it or something, if it did even have that. So, generally I think you're getting a factory refurb that is something like, when I think of a factory refurb, my kind of definition of that is something that came out of the factory and was a little out of spec and got dialed in. So it got pulled off the line at inspection, got dialed in, and in that case, it's been hand inspected, hand fixed. It's probably better than within the tolerances of the rest of them coming off the line. Now, that's not to say that other companies might operate thinking like, you get a trade-in or something, or a repair, and they take it in, send out a new camera for some reason, and then they factory refurb it. I'm sure that happens. So, yeah, I mean, if it's a high shutter count, it's a consideration. I would suspect if it's a very high shutter count, they've probably changed the shutter. And if that's happened, I wouldn't worry so much about it. It depends on the camera and the build level of the camera. The 70D, for instance, or the D7200. If it had 100,000 shots on it, I'd be concerned. You'd want to be getting that camera for a very low price. I would rather spend a little more on something that was very low, clicks, or a factory refurb that I knew didn't have that mileage on it, if you will. So yeah, it's something to be aware of, because it's like mileage on a car. It really is. Not only is it the shutter, you just know the whole camera's had that much use. And your question about the video side is it's a pertinent question. It's very insightful, because it's been on my mind off and on over the years. How do you gauge that? When I used to race two-stroke dirt bikes, you don't have an odometer. You don't know how many kilometers or miles are on the motor. What you know is how many hours of use time. And you don't know that, but once you've rebuilt it and you're driving it, that's how you gauge when you rebuild your motor again. Same kind of thing with video. We're not really, I'm not aware of any counters telling us how many hours of video have been shot. And I'm not sure, I suspect that video is as hard or harder on the sensor because of the heat it generates and things like that as just taking pictures. So if you got a camera that's got a very low shutter count and it's shot a lot of video, you might want to be wary of that too. But how do you really know that unless somebody's just being very honest and telling you? That's a good question, because I'm not aware of any way to know that. If any of you guys have any ideas on that, if you're aware of something that I'm not aware of on how to know how many hours, say, of video, of runtime are on a camera, I'm not aware of any way to know that, but I'd love to know if there is one. Leave in the comments below. Let us know. Because, yeah, that's a consideration, and something that, as far as I know, you can't really tell. So, good questions. As I said, my guidelines are as low as possible. If you're finding a camera with higher shutter counts on it, but the camera looks really good and is in really good shape, still make sure you're getting a really good deal in accordance with the mileage. I would buy, for instance, my car is an older Acura with higher kilometers, but the car itself is in great shape. Didn't have a scratch on it, in really, really good shape, very well maintained, and you could see that. Everything was done, the body was undercoated, so I felt okay buying it because I trust Honda motors. I've driven so many Hondas over the years, I know I can get high mileage out of them. Same type of thing here. You could buy a high mileage camera, just make sure it looks like it's been really meticulously maintained, it hasn't been beat up or anything, and then hopefully you'll get good usage out of it. What do you guys think? Do you agree with me on this? On, high shutter count, high video usage? Let me know. Leave some comments below. Let's discuss it. Let's help Joe out here. Thanks for your question, Joe. Stay tuned. We'll be back soon here at artoftheimage.com.